Liar! 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 No more! 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 No
The movie starts looking through a picture book. Then we get a long-ass church scene. Songs, choir, and dramatics, but no real point except setting the vibe. The preacher, Richard, says he's running for Senate. After church, he's outside chopping it up with Caroline, who we found out is sleeping with him. And he is whole married. Oh, and money is missing. From the church. He feeds her all these sweet nothings, but it's clear the church is full of broken, cheating fools. Caroline gets home. Sistine, or Sissy's boo, Tommy, is there trying to have breakfast. Caroline checks her. No men in the house when she's not home. Sissy says she's grown, 20 years old, and the house was left to all the sisters by their father. Caroline claps back that she pays the bills, so it's her rules. Then knock, knock, knock. It's Frida, the middle child, and her son Daniel. They're moving back in. Caroline gives her grief about never bringing Daniel to see their dad. Frida said she couldn't, but she's here now. They help carry luggage upstairs. Frida says the room is exactly how she left it. Caroline says she's always knew she'd come back. Later, Caroline and Richard sneak around again. They're trying to figure out how to cover the missing church money. Her name is on the withdrawal slip, so she's on the hook too. Richard calls himself a thief. He said it, not me. He won't ask his wife for a divorce or money, but wants Caroline to find the funds. Well, ain't that some shit? That night, they sit down for dinner. Caroline's on her usual self-righteous high horse. She criticizes Frida's parenting over Daniel's table manners. She's judging while actively participating in a church scandal. The audacity. Caroline tries to smooth things over. Frida finally tells her that Daniel was caught carrying drugs. She cut a deal, promised to take him out of town to get him released. Frida asks if Caroline has a man. Caroline lies. Then Frida mentions how much the house will be worth in Detroit. Later, Frida and Sissy talk. Sissy wants to be an ice skater and not end up stuck like Caroline. Richard pops up out of nowhere, says the deacon board called an emergency meeting. Caroline says she'll get the money. She's seriously considering selling the house to cover for her man. Later that night, Frida hits the bar. Some random man won't take no for an answer, tries to press up on her, when an old flame, Eddie, steps in. They catch up, argue, and flirt a bit. He follows her home, says she was the first woman he ever loved. Back at home, Frida and Caroline argue about their dad. Caroline says she was the one taking care of him. Frida says he chewed people up and spit them out. Caroline tries to pawn family silver. The white woman running the shop questions where she got it, basically accusing her of stealing. Offers her $200 for the whole set. Caroline refuses and walks out. Later, Richard keeps begging for money. Caroline tells him to ask his wife. He lies and says she left that morning after he asked for a divorce. Caroline suddenly gets excited and starts talking about a fundraiser. Sissy says she wants to leave town to skate. Caroline tells her if she leaves, don't come back. Frida and Sissy talk more. Sissy says Caroline is basically the minister's handmaiden. Frida's ex, Harry, shows up, wants to see his son, says he's got a new gig with a band. Frida calls his bullshit, says always got some new plan that don't work out. He goes upstairs to see Daniel, but decides to leave before then. But Daniel catches him before he exits and they have a moment. It's church picnic time. Frida dances to the music, just vibing. Caroline and Sissy get embarrassed and tell her to stop. People judge her hard. Frida screams at Caroline, says she's never done anything wrong in her life. Richard tells Caroline to take a loan out using her house, says it'll prove her love for him. Manipulative as hell. She's considering it. Caroline sits in a church, clearly about to do something stupid. Frida finds herself drunk outside Richard's house. He brings her in, offers coffee. She comes on to him and he doesn't resist. They sleep together. Just a reminder, he is married and also sleeping with her sister. But in her defense, she really didn't know. Sissy's out on the skating ring. Frida visits her. Sissy says she wants to leave. Frida says she does too. They plan to go. Back at the house, more arguing. Caroline says she sacrificed everything. Frida says again they should sell the house. Sissy agrees. Caroline refuses. Sissy accuses Caroline of sleeping with the preacher. Frida's like, what? And tells her to be careful with that man. Frida brings up the church fire, says their mom was the only one who didn't leave, claims she didn't want to live, says their dad forced her to have Sissy and hated her for it. They fight. Caroline accuses Frida of lying. Frida starts wrecking the house. Sissy breaks down. Sissy packs her bags and says she's heading to New York. Frida says Caroline mortgaged the house for Richard. Daniel gets back. He went fishing with Eddie. Frida says they're leaving too. Caroline begs them both to stay. They say no. She breaks down. Richard shows up, says he got the money. Caroline asks why he needed Frida if he had her. He tries to apologize, says it was just a mistake. She shuts him down, tells him to leave. He tries to finesse her one last time. She tells him to leave again, and he finally goes. Then, out of nowhere, Frida comes back, says she couldn't leave. They hug and laugh, and that's the end of the movie. It was abrupt as hell, which irritated me because it was actually a pretty good movie. But anyways, here's my final thoughts. Alright, so let's do this review of the movie Sister Sister. I have seen this movie before, but it's been a long time, so I really didn't know what the plot was. Basically, you've got these three sisters and they're living life. You got the oldest sister, and she's the one that's, been put into a parentified level after her mom died when she was younger, okay? She's the one, we find out that the mother actually died in a church fire, and she was the only one that didn't get out. The middle sister thinks that she didn't leave on purpose because her father was abusive and controlling, so she stayed and died. And I'm like, oh my gosh, when you feel like the only way out is death, that's horrible. We find out that she had their younger sister and didn't want her, and the father forced her to have just a whole bunch of foolishness. We got the older sister who's messing with a married pastor, and she ended up putting the mortgage on the house even though it was paid off so she could give the pastor some money because he got into some debt from mishandling the funds. The second sister ends up sleeping with the pastor. The pastor was trash all the way around, cheating on his wife, cheating on his girlfriend, just trash. And at one point he was trying to go to a whorehouse. Like, dude was trash.com. I just don't believe it. The younger sister, though, she was the only one that I kind of feel sorry for. She finds out that she wasn't wanted. And at the end, she ends up being like, you know what? I can't stay here anymore under the rule of my older sister. I gotta go. And she says deuces, and she leaves. And the middle sister had actually come back because she had a bad situation up north with her son who got in trouble, and she had to leave. And she also was like, at the end of the movie, I'm gonna go to deuces. But this bitch ends up coming back talking about, I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave. And I was like, I wonder why, because you ain't got nowhere else to go. Like, baby, please. She tried to make it seem like she chose her sister and her family, blah, blah, blah. But if she actually had somewhere to go that was stable, she would have went. And I think the only reason the younger sister went is because she was young, no kids, and she had that freedom that she could do that, okay? And I'm proud of her for leaving. But the older sister was full of shit. She was all high and mighty and felt like she was above everybody else, even though she was doing dirt herself. It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. Honestly, this reminds me of my family. Like, the worst people are the most hypocritical and want to judge other people when they're the ones that do the most dirt. I always found that to be interesting, Anyways, that's my review of this movie. I really liked it. It's worth a watch at least once. It's not one that I would watch over and over again, but I did enjoy this movie. It shows a lot of family dynamics and what it's like to have emotionally unavailable parent, have a parent die, and then have the parentification of the older sibling, which usually happens to the older sisters in a lot of dynamics, especially in families. It needs to stop. It needs to stop, okay? But yes, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time for the next review. Bye.